I'm so glad you're here tonight because last Monday we talked about the importance of an emergency fund. Why it's not about fear, but about protection for you. But tonight, I want to talk about the question I know many of you were still holding quietly, quietly in your mind or quietly in your heart. That everything that I said last week about an emergency fund, that it sounded good, but how do I save money and get an emergency fund when every paycheck is already gone before you even get it? If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly before we go any further. Living paycheck to paycheck does not mean you're bad with money. Trust me, we were there. It does not mean that you lack discipline. And it definitely does not mean you failed. It means you're caught in a system that is not working for you. And once you get caught in this system, everything goes haywire. So I just want you to remember it does not mean you failed, it means you're caught in a system that is not working for you. And so if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it may be hard in your mind to even think about saving for an emergency fund. So I'm not going to keep you on here very long. We're just going to talk a little bit about what we talked about last week because I was so impressed and it was so deep in my heart for you to have an emergency fund. I jumped there first. But I just want you to know that the systems that you're using, it can be changed. And that change is going to start tonight. And so what I would like for you to do, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't see a way out, you don't see how you can save for an emergency fund, I'm here to encourage you. Just when you have time, it may be on a lunch break or it may be on the weekend, or you just sit down. You need to be at a table. You need to have uninterrupted time. And you need to sit down and you need to write down your income, what you have coming in every paycheck or every month. Some of you may get paid every 2 weeks. Some of you may get paid once a month. So you get all of your bills that you have to pay monthly. Get your monthly income or your bi-weekly income. And then I want you to add up all of your bills. And then you need to add up how much you're bringing in. And what I recommend for it to be easier and not as stressful, I recommend that you just add up what you make for the month, which is what I used to do, what I did. And then I need you to add up your bills. So if you're in the red, which means that your bills are more than what you're bringing in, then I need you to go onto your banking app and I want you to look at line by line. What are you spending? Are you spending a lot of money on Starbucks? Are you spending a lot of money going out to eat? Or are you spending money maybe on Fridays going to the mall because you might be lonely or you're hanging with some girlfriends and hey, they going shopping. I might as well go shopping too. But if you are in the red, you need to look at your account or look at your bills and see exactly what you can cut out. And when I'm talking about cutting things out, do you have subscriptions that you don't use? Like, do you have Hulu and Paramount and Amazon TV? Do you really need all of that? Like, do you really have enough time to watch that much TV? If you can get by with cutting one of those subscriptions, cut that subscription. That will make money back into your account that you can start using to give yourself a buffer. And when I say a buffer, I mean even if it's $500 that you can save prior to working on your emergency fund, then do that. So we talked about subscriptions. We talked about eating out. If you're eating out a lot, what I recommend is, I know you can't go cold turkey, but what I recommend is that you cut out at least one meal a week from eating out and look at your budget, look at how much you're spending. And if you were spending like 30 or $40 a week, well, it would be more than a week, but if you were spending 30 to $40 on a meal, then I want you to take that 30 and $40 and let's put it into your savings account. Because most of the time when we are living paycheck to paycheck, it could possibly be that we are spending money that we really shouldn't be spending and we have leaks. And when I say leaks, I'm talking about things like subscriptions. I'm talking about if you get lonely, you buy something on Amazon, or if you get frustrated or emotional, you might go out to get something to eat. And I will share this with you. I've noticed for myself is like when I get stressed or get a little upset about something, I run to the closet trying to find something to eat. And is it anything healthy? No. So if your emotional thing is, I'm just going to run to Chick-fil-A, or no, I'm just going to run to Five Guys, all of that money adds up. So you need to start learning yourself. If you realize what your triggers are that's causing you to spend extra money, work on those triggers. And once you get it in your head and realize what a trigger is, what triggers you to spend unnecessary money, I can assure you, you will stop doing it because you'll be able to recognize exactly what that trigger is. So we've talked about subscriptions. We've talked about emotional spending, basically, which is eating out. The next thing I want to talk about too is entertainment. Look at your account, look at your app, and look at the things that you've been spending money on. Like, have you been going to the movies or have you been going bowling? And I'm not saying cut your enjoyment out. What I'm saying is, if you do not have an emergency fund, and if you feel like you cannot get an emergency fund because you're living paycheck to paycheck, I'm encouraging you and I'm recommending for you to look at your app to see where you can cut back. Now, this isn't something that you have to do today. You don't even have to do it tomorrow. But I'm encouraging you this weekend to sit down, look at how much you're spending, look at all of your leaks, and then I want you to cut those leaks. And so once you cut those leaks, I hope you have a savings account. If you do not have a savings account, I encourage you to open a high yield savings account. I won't recommend one, but just go on Google, put in high yield savings account, and then you do your own research and you decide which high yield savings account that you feel comfortable with. And once you do that, even if it's $50 a month, $50 a month can add up if you don't touch it. And a savings account to me is when you save money, but you don't have to go back within that month to pull that money out to help you cover your bills. Okay, did you hear me? A savings account is money that you put in your savings account. You don't run back to that savings account within 2 weeks to help you cover your monthly expenses. If you are doing that, that actually means you can't afford to be saving because you're not able to save. You're going back to get the money. So that's one point I've given you. Get yourself a buffer so that you can make yourself an emergency fund, so that you can have some peace, so that you can have some freedom in the event there's a layoff, in the event there's a sickness, or in the event that you are having to take off from work unexpectedly. I'm still pressing upon you the emergency fund, but I can't press upon you the emergency fund if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so here's the next big thing that a lot of people, a lot of clients that I work with, they don't like to hear this. But sometimes we're living paycheck to paycheck because we can't control this. And when I say this, I mean flesh. We can't control our flesh. And we want people to look at us and think that we have it going on. When in all honesty, we don't actually have it all going on. We're laying awake at night trying to figure out how we're going to pay that car note. And if that is you, I just want to let you know that you don't have to please anyone. You do not have to look like someone you're not. Because 9 times out of 10, we all have so much going on that we don't really care about what the other person is wearing or what they're driving. The person that cares is the person that's actually driving that car that cannot afford that car payment. The person that cares is actually that person that's carrying that purse, that Michael Kors purse that could have cost $300 or $400, but you don't have $300 or $400 in your savings. You don't even have $300 or $400 to put in that purse. So I'm not here to ridicule you. I'm here to help you. I'm helping you to learn to live within your reality because I don't want you living paycheck to paycheck. You have to have breathing room. You have to have peace. And I just don't believe that God has put us here on this earth to live stressed out about money. That's why I'm here tonight talking to you about living paycheck to paycheck. And in all honesty, it really don't matter how much money you make, because can you believe we have people that make 150, $200,000 a year. And you know what they're doing? They are living paycheck to paycheck because they are trying to look the part of what they are making, or they think because they are making the six figures or making $200,000 a year, they have earned the right to live in these big expensive houses that come with more than just a mortgage, to drive these expensive cars that comes with more than just a car payment. So sister, if you are here and if you're listening to me now, I'm stressing this to you because, like I said before, I was you. Try to do everything in your willpower to get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So, what I'm going to say next, it may cut a little, but if I care about you, and if I want 5 years from now for you to, 5 years from now, for you to look back and say, I'm so glad I scrolled across Reese and she was live, because now I can live in my reality. If you are living in a home, or if you're renting an apartment and it's more than 25% of your take home pay, I don't care about the gross pay, because you know what? You don't get the gross pay. Everybody else get it. Uncle Sam get it. Hopefully your retirement account is getting it. I care about what you're bringing into your house. So I care about your gross. I don't care about your net. I'm getting so excited. So whatever your net is, okay, let it be your net. I want to know how much you're bringing into your house. If you're bringing in $4,000 a month, you do 25% of that. If your mortgage or if your rent is 25% more than what you bring in, guess what? You have too much house or you have too much apartment. And the goal is to be between 20 to 25%. I like to tell my clients, try to keep your rent or your mortgage at 20%, because that will give you breathing room. And if you do 20% of what you bring home, then prayerfully that's gonna the additional 5% that gets you up to 25%, that can cover your utilities, that can cover your rentals or your home insurance, that can cover like maintenance on your home. So I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here so you can sleep at night. I am here so that you can have peace at night. So again, if you're thinking about buying a home, just because the bank say you can buy the house, don't let them tell you what you can afford. You tell them what you can afford. My husband and I, we got caught up in that when we bought our first house because we didn't know any better. We bought a home that the bank said that we could afford. But in all actuality, okay, the bank said we could afford it based on our income. But when I started doing them bills, guess what? It got so tight because we allowed the bank to tell us what we could afford. Yes, I want you to get approved for that mortgage, but I don't want, just because they say you can have the money, you have to have the wisdom to look at your bills, look at what your expenses are, look at what you want to do, and then you tell them, okay, yes, you approved me for a $400,000 house, but I'm only getting a $300,000 house. If you don't control your financial destiny, the system is designed to take us down to the ground and let us leave this world broke without leaving our children or our children's children anything. Hear me when I say it. The system is designed to keep us broke, to let us die broke, and have nothing to leave to the people that we love. So when we get off this video or I get off here live, if your heart might be beating fast or if you feel like I'm talking to you, it's okay. Because as long as you're on this side of the earth, it's okay. If you have an apartment that is 25% more than what you bring in and you feel tight and you feel like you can't breathe, when your lease is up, go find another apartment that is 20% of what you bring home. And nine times out of 10, because we are women and we like nice things. It's very easy for us to fall into, oh, I want a nice apartment, or I want a nice home. I want when people come visit me, I want them to see how nice I'm living. Honey, if you can't sleep at night, if you robbing Peter to pay Paul, if you living paycheck to paycheck, don't you care about what your friends think? Because if they care about you, then where you live don't matter. We have to realize and understand that we are the problem. We are the people that care about how we look. We are the people that care about what we present ourselves as. I'm just telling you, like you yourself, if you have stuff going on, do you really have time to care about your friend driving a Tesla? Like, do you really care? Because you got your own life and you got your own things. And I don't know what area you in, but there's a gospel song that says, sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine. But that's like talking about gossip. But in my sense, what I want to say, just sweep around your own door. Don't worry about what's going on in your friend's door, because if you are, you will live in this paycheck to paycheck cycle until the end of time. You will never get a retirement account built up the way you want to. You'll never get your emergency fund built up to the way you want to. So the time is now. It's only February in 2026. And let's break this paycheck to paycheck cycle. Just because Bobby Sue looked like she got it going on, if you could see what was going on behind her doors, if you could see how many late fees she paying, you'll be like, I thought she had it going on. But in all honesty, she don't. So getting back to my conversation, now that I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Last week we talked about an emergency fund because of all of the layoffs that are going on. Now, today, because to me, that was like a 911 call. But now, tonight, I just want to encourage you, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I need you to look at your app. I need you to look at what you're spending, see what you can cut out, because this leads up to your emergency fund, which an emergency fund this day and time, it's a must have. It's not, oh, a maybe, or I'll get to it later. No, it's a must have, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't know what the next minute is going to bring. And sure, your emergency fund, it may not be enough to cover your emergency, but guess what? You have something to start with. And if you don't have anything to start with, the debt is going to get stronger, bigger, and bigger and bigger. So we touched on your living expenses. Please, 20 to 25% only of your take home pay in your apartment or your home, your rent, whatever your living situation is. Next thing is, if your apartment or wherever you live in, if it's within 20 to 25% of your take home pay, then maybe that's not the problem. Maybe, just maybe, you may not be making enough money. Okay, so if that is the issue and you're not making enough money, I'm here to encourage you to figure out how you can make more money. Is that getting a part time job on the weekend? Is that maybe doing Uber or Lyft or DoorDash? What is it? Or do you need to go back to school and get a certification? But if you need to go back to school to get a certification, if you got to go in debt to get that certification, then guess what? That means you're not ready for a certification. And just if you do need like an additional job or to pick up a part time job, I need you to keep right here in the center of your brain that it's just a season, it's just temporary, it's to get you over the hump. And in all honesty, if you've been in a job for a long time and you really haven't been getting the raises that you probably think you should have gotten, I'm definitely not going to tell you to leave your job, because the job market is just too unstable right now. Trust God and just get you a part time job that's going to hold you over so that you can save your money, so that you can get a buffer, so then you can start working on that emergency fund. But another thing that I have to say to you is that it is so important to have generosity. And for me and my house, yes, we take our tithes to the storehouse. That is 10% of our income. Because the word of God has promised if we bring our tithes and offerings, that He will open up the windows of heaven and pours out a blessing so big we won't have room enough to hold it. And I'm not telling you to tithe to get something out of it. I'm telling you to tithe because in order for you to get something in your hands, guess what? You got to open them. If they're closed like this, what is actually going to come into your hands? Not much. We can't be stingy and we can't be hoarders if we expect God to work things out for us. And years and years ago, I heard a pastor say something different. And so when we were in the stages of tithing, I quickly remember what he said. And I'm going to say this to you. If you go back and look at the scripture about tithes, and it's in Malachi, I can't remember the chapter right off head, so I'm not going to even say it, but it's in Malachi. And what this pastor said stuck with me, and I hope it'll stick with you. Because what I just shared with you is if you tithe, the windows of heaven are open for you. But what he said is when we tithe, that just keeps the devourer from taking what we already got. So if you want to protect what you already have in the spiritual realm, then I encourage you to tithe. If you can't tithe, give what you have, what you're able to have, and give it with a heart of thanksgiving. Give it with a heart of gratitude. Give it with a heart of, I'm so glad that I'm giving this money. If give it to your local church. And if you're not in a church, then I recommend that you find a mission or a charity, your favorite charitable charity, and donate to that. So now let me just repeat myself because everybody tell me, well, from once I am from the South, that I talk too fast. And honestly, I can talk almost a mile a minute. So I'm going to slow down and just do a little recap. Okay, the first thing, I want you to get a buffer. I want you to look at the leaks that you have in your account. If you have leaks, I need you to plug those. I want you to look at getting a high yield savings account. I won't make any recommendations. Just go to Google and do some research for a high yield savings account. Next thing I talked about was your living. Is your rent or your mortgage, is it more than 25% of your income? If it is, that means you're living beyond what you should when it comes to your living arrangements. And if you're in an apartment and if you're serious about getting your money together, then I would recommend when that lease is up, you go find an apartment that's within 20 to 25% of your take home pay. We also talked about don't try to impress the Joneses because 9 times out of 10, they trying to impress you and they broke. So sweep around your own front door. Take care of you. Don't try to impress others because y'all, I'm telling you, with everything that's going on in this world and how self-centered this world has become, people don't care about where you live, what you drive, what you wear. It's you that care because you feel like you got to keep up this appearance. But, sister, I'm here to tell you if you don't change your mindset, you'll look back 20 years from now and wonder, where did all of my money go? Why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? Why am I still broke before I even get paid? I know what it feels like to just work just to pay your bills. I know what it feels like to when you get paid, you might have $20 left. That's a bad, bad feeling. You will enjoy your work more if you had some money left over after you get your paycheck. So before you spend that next dollar, before you order that next Starbucks drink, I'm asking you to please think about this. Ask yourself this question. Make yourself one money goal. I don't care if it's for 6 months, a 6 month goal. Make yourself a goal that's realistic. I will save $500 by June the 1st, 2026. I'm getting goosebumps, y'all. Once you make that goal, when you go to swipe that card for Starbucks, when you go out with your friends and your meal is $35, before you even go to Starbucks, before you even say yes that I'll go out with my friends, I want you to stop. I want you to remember this video. I want you to ask yourself, me swiping my card to get this drink, me swiping my card to buy this food when I have food at home, is this getting me closer to my goal or is it getting me further away from my goal? That changed my life and it helps me stop now. Because just because I'm a financial coach, that don't mean my flesh is gone because I really do. I like to buy little things for the house. But buying little things for the house, it adds up. So you know what I had to do? I had to step back and say, okay, if I go into home goods, am I going to be able to walk out of there without buying anything? If I go in home goods and get a little knick-knack to go in the house, is that going to help me get closer to the goal that me and my husband set, or even closer to the goal that I set for my own self? Is this helping me? So if you remember nothing else from this live, please always ask yourself before you swipe that debit card, before you swipe that credit card, is this getting me closer to my financial goal? If the answer is no, back up, sister. If the answer is yes, then that's freedom for you to do that. But I'm here to tell you it's 2026. I'm here so that you can retire with dignity. I'm here so that I can help you get your money fixed so that you can go see a financial advisor. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you got debt up to your eyeballs, how are you going to go see a financial advisor? So I'm your first step on the ladder. I'm here to teach you how to get your money in control, how to get your money fixed so that you can go and find yourself a financial advisor that can align you with the goals that you have for your future. So I just want you to remember that. And I'm going to close with this. When you spend, are you spending yesterday's money or are you spending tomorrow's money? I'll say to you again, when you are spending, are you spending yesterday's money or are you spending tomorrow's money? And when I say that, what I mean is if you're spending yesterday's money, that means you're not going deeper into the hole. If you're spending tomorrow's money, that means you're spending on credit. And I don't want you to spend on credit. So if you're here with me live, I want to thank you so much for watching. I know I went on a soapbox, but I want to help you. I want to tell you things to do that no one told my husband and me to do. We had to figure it out hard knocks, the hard way. But if you take my advice, take my recommendations, then guess what? I have done it the hard way. And so now I'm here for you. So you don't have to learn the hard way like we did. It's just a simple thing. So again, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Her Money with Reese live. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And if anything that I said, if it nudged at you or pulled at your heart, I offer consultation clarity sessions where I'll sit down with you. We'll have a Zoom call. We'll talk an hour, hour and a half, and I will give you things that you can do immediately to help you to get your finances in order. Once I do what I need to do with the video, I'll put that in the link. And if you just want somebody to talk to, somebody that you can be real with in a safe space, then look me up. I am here to serve you. I am here to help you get on top of your money instead of your money being on top of you. Again, thank you so much for watching. And now, sister, let's break that paycheck to paycheck cycle. I'll see you next time. Toodles.